Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vandiazzo back at another Card Fight Vanguard Upper If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the Patreon. Let's get started, shall we? Today we have Murakumo, Hyakki! So, as we know, Hyakki Reverse was a olden card back all the way in Link Joker era, or like they were entrance of Link Joker era, but unlike all the other, or most of the other reverses, it never had a original version to revert to. And then when V came along, they showed us the original version of Hyakki, but they never made the reverse until now. And the reverse is pretty good. I love its art. I think its skill is good. It definitely just takes some getting around. A lot of people said it was bad on first grade 3 turn. What do you mean bad on first grade 3 turn? Literally go watch my videos. I pull the thing off on first grade 3 turn so easily. So let's go ahead and get this deck started, shall we? First up, our starter today is Masago Stealth Rogue Goemon. 6k base, 10k shield, grade 0 boost. Auto when rolled upon, draw a card, then your opponent's Vanguard's grade 1 or good, you get a quick shield, take it to your hand. Standard starter ability, nothing too special about it. You get a draw, you get a quick shield, is pretty much it. I do choose to run him over other starters because, like, I'm not necessarily a Naruto fan. Literally, the last time I've watched an actual full Naruto episode, like, I've watched clips of Naruto like 6 months ago, but the last time I actually watched a full Naruto episode was somewhere in the era of 2019 to 2018, or sorry, 2018 to 2019. That was when I was into Naruto, right? One of those two. It's somewhere between 2015 and 2019. Somewhere in between there was the last time I watched a Naruto full episode, and then after that I've never watched a full Naruto episode ever again, because like I just kind of fell apart with Naruto. But one of the things I know from Naruto is Jiraiya, which means frogman. That's probably not remotely true, but I know it has something to do with frogs. And, you know, I just think the starter's cute, and I like the frog, so that's our starter. Trigger-wise, we run 4 draw PG, and Stealth Beast leaves Mirage. Grade 0 boost, 5k power, 0 shield, draw trigger, continue sound, you have 4 sounds on your deck, and auto guard circle in place. Discard a card from your hand, and choose one of your units that cannot be into the battle, followed by 8 fronts and 4 Stealth Beast ahead Panther, and 4 Fox Tamer Izuna. Or Izuna, not Inazuma, because that's what Inazuma 11 is. So if you're wondering why I'm going the draw PG route, is because to play this deck properly and to kill your opponent quick enough, you need hand cards. I don't need to say more. Now, front triggers. Okay, we can all argue that front triggers are not needed in this deck, because if you're willing to spend 3 counterblasts and discard 3 to give front row plus 30, you don't really need fronts. You could just sack crits and win. But I kind of want the fronts because it's not always guaranteed that you're going to be able to do Hyakki's skill in the first place, especially because, like, it does cost counterblast in a deck that doesn't have counterchargers, followed by you have to actively discard a card to do it, and you still have to have a certain number of Hyakkis on board, or just units on board in general for it. So you need the draw triggers to keep up that hand, and to keep up the guarding. If you want to go the route with crits, go the route with crits, but I do suggest keep the draw PG regardless, because you can never really go wrong with an extra hand card, unless you're playing a deck that decks out very quickly. But even then, this deck, I superior call a card from deck every turn, and yet I only won against a deck against like 15 deck cards. It's not really that bad. So I prefer the 4 draw, 8 front lineup, but if you want to shove in some crits or maybe make it some rainbow, you can. And then our heal trigger is Stealth Fiend Yukihime. We all know why I hate Heal Guardians. If you don't know why I hate Heal Guardians, it is because they're detrimental to my playstyle, and if you want a better explanation on that, go watch a video from 3 weeks ago, and you will get a actual, like, full-out detailed response. So, yeah, that's why I run Yukihime. It's detrimental to my playstyle, and go watch the other video to get some background on it. On to grade 1s. 3 copies of Stealth Rogue of Summoning, Jiraiya. Oh, great. So now we have 2 references to Naruto. Got it. One in name and one in art. So, grade 1, boost, 10k shield, 8k base, our first grade 1. Auto Vanguard when placed, draw a card and put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. So, you get an extra draw. You don't have to discard. Cool. And then act rear guard once per turn, counterblast 1, and one of your Vanguards goes plus 10 for the turn. Okay, you know what? That's not even that bad. Like, yeah, Hyakki requires you to counterblast and discard 1, but, you know, if you don't have enough Hyakkis left and you just want to make your Vanguard hit for bigger numbers, or you just want to make your Vanguard hit for bigger numbers regardless if you have Hyakkis left or not, just do it. Your Vanguard gets plus 10. If only it said all the units with the same name as your Vanguard get plus 10, considering it's a double rare. Then again, I'm pretty sure 1, that would have to be a triple rare for it. 2, for it not to break the game, would have to be 5k. And 3, even with the 5k, I feel like that would be enough for it to go on the limited list. But yeah, this card's good. And yet, for some reason, despite this is our only actual valid grade 1 ride target, we run it at 3 compared to the other two that don't really need to be on Vanguard in the first place. But, you know, this is here. You preferably want to ride this, but the other two are far more important in the deck to the point where your ride target somehow isn't. So 3 copies of Jiraiya. If you want to bump it up to 4, you can. The card I don't suggest you replace it with is 4 copies of Stealth Beast Metamorfox. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 8k base, auto rearguard when placed from anywhere. You may change this unit's card name to one of your other unit's card name till end of turn. Okay, if you can't tell what this is here for, if you don't remember what Hyakki does, or the original one, it is plus 10 to all of your units with the same name as it, which means you can call it, and because it's an active ability, you don't have to use it immediately. Use your Vanguard, get a bunch of Hyakkis, leave an open rearguard circle in the back row, call Metamorfox, change its name to the Hyakkis, use Hyakkis, give counterblast 1, discard 1. Even if you don't summon anything from your deck, you shuffle, and you give plus 10 to all your units, including this thing, because now its name is Hyakki. So you use this thing to become an 18k booster, or God knows what type of booster, because Hyakkis can hit numbers very quickly. So 4 copies of Metamorfox, because it may be non-place, but it's a free and easy way to make numbers even bigger in this deck. 4 copies of our last grade 1, Stealth Rogue of Multitude, Sanjee. 7k base, grade 1 boost, 10k shield, has no ability on Vanguard, continues rearguard. If you have another unit with the same card name as this unit on your Vanguard or rearguard, this unit gets plus 5. If you have 2 or more, it gets plus 10 instead of plus 5. Okay, so you can use this in the sense where you can just call a bunch of them to back row and then just get 17 out of all of them, or like Metamorfox combo play them. The reason why this is here is just to make your Hyakkis bigger. In all honesty, you can kind of just replace it with Ataka, the top 5 searcher, or maybe just bump this down to 3 and bump Jiraiya up to 4. But I think he serves his purpose because in a deck that can hit big numbers, what is something you want to do in that deck? Hit bigger numbers. There's no such thing as Guardian. We all know what God Hand can do. We saw the anime fight where God Hand was reaching numbers in the 90s. Yeah, you don't just stop when you hit in the big numbers. You go bigger in the numbers. That's what Asha did back in G, and why they hit like 100 power in the stupid bullshit loop that doesn't need to exist. So, yeah, Sanjee. The purpose of there's no such thing as a big number, only bigger numbers. 4 of, if you want to bring it down to 3, you can and put 4 of Jiraiya, or just replace with Ataka, but I do prefer the ability to get bigger numbers, because now it forces out PGs, even if they sack triggers. 4 copies of Sanjee. Grade 2 time. 2 copies of Stealth Rogue of Noah Mask Awazu. Out the wazoo. Grade 2, intercept 5k shield, 9k base. Auto rear, when placed your deck to 1 card, put it to drop zone stuff for your deck, and this unit gets that card's name till end of turn. Okay, here's what you do with this. You call it skill, you send one of your Hyakkis to draw, preferably the reverse, then you use Hyakki's reverse ability, lock your other backward rearguard circles, call a bunch of Hyakkis, use their skills, counterblast and discard any number of cards, plus 10 to all of your Hyakkis, and because this is a Hyakki now, you just give it a bunch, or technically you would have to send a Hyakki normal to drop, and then you just get a bunch of power out of it. So, yeah, Awazu can hit numbers as well. It is mainly here for the final push, because typically your whole front row is most likely going to have all Hyakkis, unless your opponent has done a really good job of killing and rushing you down. So unless you have an open rearguard circle in the front row, you just use this for lock fodder or a discard fodder, but he still will prove his purpose if the game goes long enough and your opponent has been selectively killing your rearguards. 2 copies. 4 copies of Swift Arrow Fushimi. Grade 2, intercept 5k shield, 9k base, continues Vanna rearguard. If you have 4 or more rearguards during this turn, it gets plus 5 during your turn. So 14, really easy to hit in this deck, because this is ninjas. They can clone anything. And then auto Vanna rear, when placed, use one of your units until end of turn, it can attack the back row. Not from the back row, but can attack the back row. Okay, if Murakumo had ways to restand, not counting weasels, then yeah, I guess that would be valid. I don't really know if I like this or not. It's mainly here for the plus 5 skill, because, okay, for the record, if you can't tell, the whole purpose of this deck, minus Metamorfox over here, is basically meant to be you early rush your opponent's death or keep all these cards in hand, and then proceed to go grade 3, go burr, use Hyakki, make a board, hit big-ass numbers, and kill them with what little guarding power they have left while they're 4 damage. So, that's the point of the deck. Early rush them, go to grade 3, use skills, lock your rear guards, call board, hit numbers, die. That's the point of this deck. But, every once in a while, their abilities outside of it. Fushimi has some purpose if you end up having an open rearguard circle. Not more important than this thing if you still have a Hyakki left in deck and a Hyakki left on board, but for Fushimi, because he can still get numbers in an early game. Next up, we have Stealth Rogue of Indignation Meomaru, 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 intercept, auto rear when it attacks, soul blast 1 and all of your rear guards with the same card name as your Vanguard get +5 for the turn. Okay, so he won't get it, but everyone else will. The Vanguard, your, all your other Hyakkis, yeah. A lot of numbers will be given from this. Like, this is an attack, it's a good thing he doesn't have to hit. You could just literally swim with this without a booster. Worst case scenario, pay your soul blast, get bigger numbers out of it. Like, that's what the point of this thing is. If you've already exhausted, like, all of your Hyakkis out of deck to the point where you don't need the reverse skill anymore, you can just use Meomaru, use your last bit of soul on giving the rest of your Hyakki units power and making them hit for slightly bigger numbers. For Meomaru, because he is a really good finisher. In the early game, you're not going to need him, but worst case scenario, he turns everything on your board into a finishing move. So, 4 copies of him. And then 4 copies of our last grade 2 Stealth Dragon Meteor Pyro. If you can't tell, the only one that has a Vanguard skill is Fushimi over here, so you kind of have to ride him. 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept, auto rear. When placed, discard a card from your hand, look at top 2, put 1 to your hand, put the other to drop. Yeah, this is where you kind of start discarding this thing or your quick shields for, and then you just bounce either a Hyakki, hopefully, or just anything that's useful among them for later plays. He's mainly here just because he gets you a free top 2 search and can possibly get you something good, and can act as lock fodder after he's placed, so 4 of. On to grade 3s. 4 copies of Covert Demonic Dragon, Hyakki Vogue! I can't tell if that's the sun or not, but that looks really cool in the background. Grade 3 Twin Drive Excel Gift, 12k base, act Vanguard or Rear Guard once per turn. Counterblast 1, discard a card from hand, search it out for 1 Covert Demonic Dragon, Hyakki Vogue, call it to Rear Guard circle and shuffle your deck. If you have 5 or more units, all your units with the same card name as this card get +10. So, if you do call one from deck, you don't have to call, but if you do, you can at least get +10 off of 2 units, which is really nice. It may be once per turn, but it's not once per turn per card, so it's not once per turn for all, it's once per turn per card, which means if you have 4 of them, you can counterblast 4, discard 4, give +40 to all of your Hyakkis, which you combine that with a back row of Metamorfoxes, that's +40 to an entire board, which, let's see, for that to occur, you will most likely have 2 Excel gifts. No, you will need 2 Excel gifts. Your Vanguard be at 52, your 2 units on the Excel gifts be at 57, your 2 rear guards not on the Excel gifts would also be at 52, followed by the Metamorfox, which will all be at 48. Oh god, those numbers hit in the 90s! Oh yeah, PGs ain't stopping that shit. Like, you would have to drop 4 PGs to stop 4 of them, but what's gonna stop the 5th attack of their 5 damage? Yeah, Hyakki Vogue, get you numbers, can be moved fast, 4 of. And then 4 of the thing that will interplay into the combo that I will explain. Covert Demonic Dragon, Hyakki Vogue, First off, I love this thing's art. It looks like dark energy is shooting down right here, and then we got like the reverse circle, and we got the giant black circle up there from Planet Cray. Then we have like the demonized sword that looks so boss. We have the cool dragon wings. We got like all the armor. Oh god, this thing's fucking beautiful, I swear. And on the sleeve that I made, it looks beautiful. Grade 3 Twin Drive Excel Gift, 12k base. Continues deck, Vanguard or Rear Guard. This is also regarded as Covert Demonic Dragon, Hyakki Vogue, which means you can search it with this. I mean, granted, that's its only Rear Guard ability, but you can search it with this just like you search it with that, and it will still get the +10 because it has the same name, whether it's on Vanguard or Rear Guard. Act Vanguard once per turn, so boss 1, search deck for 3 cards with the same card name as this unit, so you can call itself or this. Call them to Rear Guard circle and shuffle your deck. Then choose the same number of your Rear Guards as the number of called and lock them. So, I will explain the combo later, and auto-van, when your locked card is unlocked during your end phase, put a rear guard to the bottom, choose one of your rear guards, return it to hand. So, you get 2 units out of it. So, you open up 2 circles, which is really nice. So, you can basically bounce your Hyakkis, or this, so your opponent can't touch them, and now we'll explain the combo. So, what you do is this. So, say you're going first, which a lot of people say, oh, if you go first, on first grade 3 turn, you won't have enough units to do it. You're only right in the sense where if you only have 2 Hyakki, if you only have 1 Hyakki and that Hyakki is the reverse, then yeah, okay, you can't do it. But if you have any 2 Hyakkis, shut the fuck up, you can do it. So what you can do is ride Hyakki reverse, okay, get your Excel gift. Say your board is just empty, okay, you go Medo Prow, you don't even have to use this ability, you can just call it to call it. You call Meomaru to the back row, you call both of them to the back row, you don't even have to use either of their abilities. What you do with Hyakki reverse here, you Soul Blast 1, Okay? And this requires one other Hyakki in hand. It can be with the reverse, it can be Hyakki Vogue, it can just be either of the two. You search your deck for 2 Hyakki Vogues. You call them to the rearguard circles. One on the Excel gift, one on the non-Excel gift in the front row. You lock the 2 back row boys. Okay? You got 2 Hyakkis. You got a total of 3 units. This requires 5. Guess what? You still have 2 open rearguard circles. You call the Hyakki to one of them, you call literally any other unit in your hand. People say you can't do this on first grade 3 turn. That is only true if you only have 1 Hyakki. That is the only reason that people... I don't even... And even then, even if you have only 1 Hyakki, unless you are intentionally trying to spam out a full board of Hyakkis, which you only need to do it twice, technically speaking, and your front row will still hit good numbers, it is good. You don't fucking need it. Also, wait, no, you don't even need the other one in hand because this just searches one. You only need 2 rear guards. Why are people saying that this doesn't go off on first grade 3 turn? Neither of them are restricted to the opponent being a grade 3, and you literally only need 2 rear guards and 1 counterblast to pull this off. 2 rear guards, so a total of 3 hand cards, and 1 counterblast. I don't know what the fuck people were complaining about. I don't know if people are still complaining about it, but whoever was complaining about it clearly doesn't understand how Hyakki Vogue works. Maybe I'm missing something, but literally I've been able to pull that shit off literally every time I play the deck. It is not that hard. I don't understand why people cared, but it's a thing. You can just get 2 units and then lock 2, and then you could still call to that column, and you got 5 units out of it. There's no problem with it. I don't know why people are complaining. But yes, so you can easily get numbers. And then the combo you can do is you could just choose to call reverse maybe from your hand and lock it as lock fodder for its skill. And then when you unlock your units, you send one of them to the bottom, and then you bounce the reverse to hand so you can constantly rewrite it and you didn't lose any lock fodder on top of it. Or you could just use it to bounce Hyakki so your opponent can't like kill them or get rid of them by sending them to bottom on their own, so you have to relock something to get it back. Just because, you know, you don't want to waste too many counterblasts on them, but you also don't want to like... I mean, you're going to use the counterblast anyways, but you also just don't want to like have to go search for it again. So, yeah, I do like this deck a lot. It definitely gets the stuff. It has good arts, and then it also has the ability to hit numbers really quickly. And then our gift-wise, we run 6XL1, 6XL2s. Both of them, when acquired, make a new front rear guard circle, and it goes top left and top right, and you alternate between the 2. The difference is XL1, the unit on that circle gets plus 10 during your turn. XL2, when the circle is made, you draw a card, and the unit on that circle gets plus 5 during your turn. So this one you go for more consistency, this one you go for more power. I already said it earlier, this deck gets enough power, even with the extra fronts. Even if you choose to shove in crits over fronts, there is no reason to pick XL1, unless Bushy eventually make a deck that is like the definition of a Yu-Gi-Oh! 1-turn deck where it has so much OTK potential to the point where the second it hits a grade 3 is pretty much game over from there unless you have 6 PGs in hand. So yeah, XL2 is the way to go. You need the hand cards to replenish Mr. Counterblast 4, discard 4 over here. And then we have our quick show, which is when one of your attacks is plus 5k for the battle. So, you know, they either use for discard fodder of this or your PGs, if I can find it, and Jiraiya fodder just to not send a card back to deck. And that's it for the deck, so I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, Hyakki is scary. I genuinely do not understand what people are talking about that you can't do it first grade 3 turn, when I'm literally able to do it every first grade 3 turn. I have never had every time I've been able to ride Hyakki Vogue Reverse, I have never had a problem with doing it first grade 3 turn, ever. So, like, they give you 2 counterblasts. Sorry, no, they don't even have to give you 2 counterblasts. They give you 1 counterblast. And as long as you have 3 hand cards, you can do it. I don't know why people make a big deal out of it, but you can. So, it's just how the... I mean, those 3 hand cards do also have to be units, but as long as they're units, you can do it. So, and the thing, but genuinely, like, this deck gets power, it gets numbers. Granted, it only gets 4 attacks, but 4 attacks and, like... all of them are swinging into like the higher 20s, 30s, and if you were willing to go balls to the walls, 40s and 50s, while your opponent's at grade 2. If you do what you're supposed to do in this deck and like go rush, and then they're like at 4 damage before you get to grade 3, and they like even if they're at grade 3, unless they have a fuck ton of hand cards, you can just kill them with Hyakki because triggers won't save them. I mean, triggers might make it slightly easier, but they won't save them fully. Whew, Hyakki is definitely a deck that hits numbers, and it's very fun playing, and has some cool arts behind them. They have some good skills, and I like them a lot. So I'm ending it here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.